There is a stretch of motorway in northeastern England where something happens to drivers that they cannot fully account for afterward. They are traveling at speed, radio on, destination in mind. And then, in the peripheral vision of the right side of the windscreen, something appears. Something large. Something that should not be there. Not in this landscape, not at this scale, not made of this material. They look. And for the next 30 seconds, as the motorway carries them past, they cannot look away. The Angel of the North has been standing on a hill above the A1 motorway outside Gateshead since 1998. It is 20 meters tall. Its wings span 54 meters, wider than a Boeing 757. It weighs 200 tons. It is made of weathering steel, the same industrial material used in shipbuilding and heavy engineering, chosen because this part of England was built on coal mining and heavy industry, and the Angel was designed to carry that history in its material. Over 33 million vehicles pass within sight of it every year. Most people see it for less than 30 seconds. And in those 30 seconds, something happens that neither the sculptor nor the viewers have ever been fully able to explain. Antony Gormley was commissioned to make a work for the site in 1994. The commission came from Gateshead Metropolitan Borough Council, which had acquired a disused site at the top of a hill where a colliery had once operated, where men had gone underground for generations, and where the industry that defined the region had finally ended. The council wanted something significant for the site, something that would mark the transition from what the place had been to what it might become. Gormley's proposal was not immediately welcomed. Local opposition was considerable. A figure of this scale, made of industrial steel, on a hill visible for miles. The objections ranged from aesthetic to practical, to the simply visceral resistance that large, public art proposals tend to generate. A local newspaper ran a campaign against it. Petitions were organized. The debate went on for years. The Angel was installed in February 1998. Within months, the opposition had largely dissolved. Within a few years, it had become the most recognized work of public art in Britain. More recognized, by some measures, than any artwork in any gallery in the country. What changed is not fully documented. But this is where the story becomes stranger. The figure is not conventionally angelic. There are no feathers. There is no suggestion of flight. The wings do not curve upward in the gesture of divine elevation that the Western iconographic tradition associates with angels. They extend horizontally, parallel to the ground, in a posture that reads less as the readiness to ascend than as the steadiness of something that has landed and intends to stay. The body is based on Gormley's own body. He used a cast of himself as the starting point for the figure, as he has done throughout his career. The proportions have been altered. The figure is broader than a human body. The surface is smoother, the features less defined. It is recognizably human in outline, but has moved past the individual towards something more general. The face has no features. There are no eyes, no mouth, no nose. The head is a smooth form that turns slightly, suggesting attention without specifying its object. You cannot tell what the Angel of the North is looking at. You cannot tell what it is thinking, if thinking is the right word for what a featureless steel face does. And yet visitors consistently describe the experience of standing beneath it as being looked at, not looking, being seen. The technical term for this effect in sculpture is apotropaic, the quality of a figure that appears to direct attention toward the viewer regardless of where the viewer stands. Gormley did not use this term in his descriptions of the work, but the effect is consistent enough across enough viewers to constitute something that requires explanation. The art historical reading of the Angel of the North situates it within Gormley's broader practice, a career-long investigation into the relationship between the human body and the spaces it occupies, between physical presence and absence, between the individual and the collective. The use of his own body as a template is not incidental to this project. It is the project. The figure is both specific, this body, these proportions, and universal, stripped of the individual features that would make it a portrait rather than a proposition dot by this reading. The Angel of the North is asking a question about what it means to be human in a post-industrial landscape, in a place where the human activity that defined it for generations has ended, where the bodies of the men who worked underground have been replaced by a single body made of the same material they used to extract. This is a coherent reading. It is supported by Gormley's own statements about the work dot at first. This seems to resolve the question of why the angel produces the effect it produces. It doesn't, because the reading accounts for the intellectual content of the work without accounting for the 30 seconds on the motorway. The people who feel something when they pass the Angel of the North at speed are not, in that moment, thinking about post-industrial landscapes or the relationship between body and space. They are not applying art historical frameworks to what they are seeing. They are simply seeing something large on a hill and feeling something happen before they have had time to form a thought about it. This precognitive response, the effect that arrives before the analysis, is what the intellectual reading cannot account for. And it is, by most measures, the primary experience of the angel for the majority of the 33 million people who see it each year. Not a considered aesthetic encounter, a 30-second event that happens in the body before it reaches the mind. Gormley has spoken about this directly. He has said that he was interested in making a work that people would encounter at the speed of modern life, that would register in peripheral vision, in the moving frame of a car window, rather than in the stillness of a gallery. He designed it to work at 70 miles per hour, weather. He anticipated the specific quality of the effect it produces. The sense of being seen by something that has no eyes is a question his statements do not fully answer. He describes the intention. The experience exceeds the intention. The Angel of the North is the most visited work of art in Britain. It receives approximately 150,000 visitors per year who make the specific journey to stand beneath it. But its primary audience is the 33 million who see it from the motorway, who have not chosen to be there, who were not expecting it, and who carry something away from those 30 seconds that they did not have before. What they carry is difficult to name. It is not aesthetic pleasure, exactly. It is not the satisfaction of recognizing a significant work. It is something more unsettled than either, the residue of an encounter with something that does not fit neatly into the available categories, that arrived too quickly to be processed and stayed after the processing was done. Gormley has been asked many times what the angel means. He has given thoughtful, articulate answers. None of them fully account for the 30 seconds on the motorway, or for the fact that people who have seen it once find themselves looking for it when they drive past again, not because they want to think about what it means, but because they want to feel whatever it was again. It is still standing on that hill. The steel has weathered to a deep rust that changes with the light and the season. The wings are still horizontal. The face is still featureless. And the question of what happens in those 30 seconds, why a steel figure on a hill above a motorway produces, in the majority of people who see it, something that they cannot name and do not forget, is the same question it was in 1998, when it was installed and the opposition evaporated, and nobody could explain why they had changed their minds. Something happened. It is still happening. Nobody has fully explained it yet.